origins of this story really come from a listing that had been long planned for early spring. We were going to hit the spring market, and as March approached and we saw everything that was happening in the world, we made some adjustments to how we were going to handle the listing. It was a listing in Potomac, Maryland. Um, Beautiful, beautiful house. I had the good fortune to have clients who took wonderful care of it and made many improvements and had beautifully furnished home. But we came to realize that because they lived in the home at the time and that we were going to be showing it while the coronavirus thing was going on, that we wanted to offer as many options as we could. And this was early. The listing actually went active on March the 26th. So we were still at a point when a lot of people were very concerned about what was going on, but the majority of the restrictions hadn't been applied yet. The strategy that I chose to adopt, though, was to do a 3D tour. We used Home Visit, we used the technology, the Matterport technology that they used, and we put together this tour with the suggestion and the idea that it would be really more advantageous for many buyers to be able to get a good solid look at the house without having to come inside. And of course it was to the seller's advantage because it meant that they weren't going to have to necessarily vacate for casual lookers. We made everything ready with the offer, with the listing, and at 6:45 on Thursday morning, the 26th of March, I clicked the button and took the listing active. 15 minutes later, the listing was viewed by a buyer who had been keeping an eagle eye on this neighborhood where there'd been no inventory to amount to anything. 15 minutes after that, he contacted his agent. This is a half an hour into the listing, and asked her to schedule a showing. As she did that, she took note of the fact that there was a 3D tour, and she sent her client to look at that 3D tour. The client, who had some familiarity with the neighborhood, so wasn't a complete newbie, looked at it, called the agent back and said, let's don't waste time on an in-person tour right now. I've seen it 3D and it looks perfect, write the offer. What happened then was that within 4 hours, we had an offer above list price, and 4 hours after that, we had a ratified contract. Fortunately, the day after, the buyer was able to go into the home and agreed that what he saw was completely consistent with the 3D tour. But I have very, very happy clients, of course, not just because we ended up with a really attractive contract very quickly, but in this point in time when we're all worried about what's the appropriate way to let people in. How do we observe CDC guidelines? How does everybody distance? How do you be certain that people who have been in your home haven't left something behind that you wish they hadn't? And we solved so many problems here. We're a couple of weeks away from settlement yet, so I always talk about these things advisedly, but everything is on track. The contingencies are behind us, and I feel like it's a tactic I'll use going forward, whether or not we have coronavirus issues lurking around, which we certainly will for some point in time. And I think that those agents who have used this tactic many times are probably seeing similar results. But wow, what a great example of how quickly life has changed, and how a technological tool like that can really make a difference in how a shopper first interacts with a home.